I was listening to a podcast recently. It was a really great conversation about striking up the balance between motivating people, and not overtaxing people, and I guess, encouraging entrepreneurs and encouraging people to, want to be innovative, be creative. And I guess just, the bottom line is, how can we have a society where we maximize quality of life? How do we maximize quality of life for everyone, right? I hear a lot of people talk about, okay, maybe you've got, the right-wing Republicans, or in Canada, the progressive conservatives, and it seems like there's a little bit of an avoidance when it comes to talking about certain issues like poverty, climate change. I'm genuinely curious to know from people, from those parties or anybody, what is the thinking in that regard? Because there's an obvious, argument for ending poverty. I think if you're a wealthy person, or even just an average person with children, and there's a lot of poverty, then crime, I'd be pretty sure, I'd be willing to bet crime increases with poverty, right? And if we don't address issues, if we don't address mental health issues, if we don't address drug issues, if we don't help people out with, some people, they don't have good upbringings, they don't have resources, they're just, they're born way back from the starting line, that most people, I think, or your average person, I suppose, in Canada or in the States, enjoys, having enough food, shelter, some education opportunities, various, job opportunities. So what about the people who really don't have that? What's the thinking around that? So what, just the balance between making progress financially, allowing people, to motivating people. So that's it. Like, you got, on one hand, you got people with money, and they don't want to have it all taken away through taxes. And maybe particularly the middle class doesn't want to have money taken away, because they feel like, I'm just doing okay. I'm just doing okay here. So I can't afford for you to take all of my money, or 40% or whatever it is of my income. Even if I do have, decent coverage for healthcare and stuff like that. And that's the area that I'm certainly not an expert in. And I'm curious to hear from people, what is the balance? What is the balance? What is the sweet spot? Because, we got to care about our kids and fresh air. And